to the Mizzle Dub Show where they know sports. If you wanna know about sports, this is where you go. Welcome to the Mizzle Dub Show where they know sports. If you wanna know about sports, this is where you go.
First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah.
So we're going to try very, very hard. We're going to try very hard not to go 2+ hours like we did earlier this morning. But however, when you have good friends on the show, this is what normally happens. Talking football and playoffs and all that stuff. But welcome to number one. And we already got comments starting galore already on episode 151 of the Mizzle and Dub Show. He is Mizzle, I am Dub. But hey, before we get into that game, I must concede. By 3.5 games, tequila officially beats whiskey. Mizzle finishes the regular season with a 146-82 record, and I come in the rear at 143-86. So the few times we disagreed, he gets me by 3.5 games. Dadgummit. Nonetheless,
you caught up a little bit.
I did, but those times we disagreed, you got the better of me on those occasions, hence why you beat me by 3.5 games. But one thing I can say is you and I both did some pretty good jobs picking games this year. That's for doggone sure.
I think we know our shit a little bit.
Nonetheless, Mizzle will be getting just a smidge, but we've only been doing this for 3 years, so who's counting?
Well, I'll say this.
Welcome to 151. Yes, there was a national champion. What's that?
The Detroit Lions helped us out a lot.
They did. Yes, they did.
Mike Tomlin screwed us on a few victories.
Yes, they did.
It was a good year, though. I can't wait. I'm already looking forward to the.
Hence why we.
Good.
Hence why we came up with this rule on this. Hence why we came up with the rule on the show: don't go against Mike Tomlin. But that's here nor there. And like I said, they're in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin wins 10 games for the 10th time in his 17-year career as a head coach. So what the heck do we know? But there was a national championship game that took place in Houston, Texas. And for the first time since 1997, it is hail to the victors as the University of Michigan gets their first national championship since 97 and their first outright national championship in a very, very, very long time. But nonetheless, I've said this, that the Wolverines were playing for a bigger cause. They were playing for their head coach.
Yes.
The fact that he got suspended twice, 3 different games, this team rallied around their coach and got the national title. Now, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of sanctions up against Michigan going on later this year. And that's why the whole Harbaugh NFL talk is probably going on right now. That's why he's being linked to your beloved Raiders, being linked to the Inglewood Chargers. Yes.
When Pete Carroll left for the NFL, did USC win their title before they got sanctioned? Or was it? Did they win that title before he left to the NFL?
No, they lost to Texas.
Okay, I thought so. Okay, I didn't know. I don't know if that. I couldn't remember if that was
Texas.
Okay,
they lost.
I was thinking.
Well, they came into that game against Texas in the Rose Bowl, the 2005 season, January of 2006. They were coming in as the two-time defending champions, trying to go for a three-peat. Obviously, that year, Reggie Bush won the Heisman Trophy, and then not so long after
Lost
that,
it.
I think they relinquished Bush's trophy, EIO, so on and so forth. But yeah, Pete Carroll directly left after that, and
He started
eventually
riding on
went
the ball.
to the Seahawks. Hence why we're going to go through this again, possibly with Michigan. Hence why Harbaugh is back with a whole NFL talks and so on and so forth. But that's here nor there. Well, here's what I say to that. Um,
But he has a
if he comes
good
back,
record in the NFL. He has a damn good
he
winning
went
percentage in the NFL.
he went 44, 19, and 1 in his 4 seasons in San Francisco slash Santa Clara, because his first 3 years they were still the San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco 49ers until they moved to Santa Clara in 2014. However,
Yes.
44, 19, and 1 in 4 seasons. 3 of those seasons, you either end up in the conference championship game or the Super Bowl. Granted, you lost all 3 of them. Um,
Yes.
all 3 of them in heartbreaking fashion,
Yes.
mind you. But the fact is, he got there. His teams were competitive with the exception of 2014 because there was a lot of turmoil between him and Trent Baalke and him and Jed York, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Boy.
One thing is one. There's 2 things that have been consistent with Harbaugh. Wherever he goes, he wins, but he doesn't stay there long. That's been his
Yeah.
track record. Um, he's not like his dad, Jack. He's not like his brother, John, to where John's been there for 16 years in Baltimore, and most of those years, this is the 11th time that John Harbaugh has been to the playoffs as Ravens head coach. As we know, his dad, Jack, was a part of Bo Schembechler's staff for a very, very long time. Went to Western Kentucky, coached there for a long time. Won the Division II national championship in 2002. Oddly enough, the same year that Harbaugh got into his first year, being on an NFL staff, being on Mizzle's beloved Raiders that went to the Super Bowl in 2002. So, I mean, Jim doesn't stay long wherever he
Yeah.
goes, but
And that's
in
why
the
I
time
want
that
him.
he's
That's why
there,
Vegas.
all he does, and that's one reason why Raider fans are skeptical about bringing Harbaugh. Yes, I know he has an. Yes, I know we. Mizzle and I both know that Jim has an affinity and a love and a respect for Al Davis, mainly because his first NFL coaching job happened under Al Davis. So there's a love and respect there for Al.
Yes.
However, as we've said many times lately on this show, Raider Nation has been united with backing Antonio Pierce. I mean, you saw the sign in the stands yesterday inside the
Well,
Death Star. I mean, you're seeing it
not
all the
just the
same.
signs. You heard
Just
the
hire
fans.
AP. Just hire AP.
Yeah. You heard the fans as well.
That too. I mean,
And another
and again,
thing. And another thing.
and again, I understand.
I've said this before, and I'm gonna continue to say it. When is the last time you seen this franchise or this fan base united? Yeah, there's a few couple of stragglers that don't want AP, and they're I think I'm gonna call those new school fans because they don't know crap about football. But when is the last time you seen this fan base united? Don't worry, I'll wait.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. Probably not since the year they went to Super Bowl 37. To be quite honest, because I mean here's the thing. Um, I mean heck, I go back to the last 2 years that Tom Cable was the head coach. The team rallied and played for him. Um, and I will say this, and I believe saying this: if they would have given Hugh Jackson one more year in 2012, I really believe they could have turned it around and maybe made the playoffs. 2011 was the most unfortunate thing that could have happened to Hugh Jackson because obviously that's when the Maverick, the face of the franchise, the Shield, the Maverick passed away, and obviously Mark didn't know what the hell he was doing, and then basically the keys were given to Hugh, and Hugh did what he thought he should have done, which was best for the team after they lost Jason Campbell for the season, and the whole trade for Carson Palmer and all that. And I know Hugh wanted to stay, because Hugh loved everything about being a Raider. But it's just unfortunate that Reggie McKenzie wanted his own guy. We know how that turned out,
Dennis
so on and so
Allen.
forth.
Fucking Dennis.
However, with that
Allen.
said,
What the fuck? Dennis fucking Allen. Let me repeat that one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis fucking Allen. No coaching experience at all. But AP gives me those Hugh Jackson vibes. Because Hugh Jackson was, what do you like to run? What do you like to run? Come here and sit down and talk to me, quarterback. How can I put you in a better position? Talk. Darren McFadden, how everybody wanted to write off, had a career year with Hugh Jackson. No, 2 years. Because Hugh Jackson was his offensive coordinator first, and then he became his coach. 2 years. Darren McFadden was healthy, and he ran his ass off. Matter of fact, me and my brother was at one of the games against, sorry, Keith, if you're watching, against your Jets, where he ran all up and down the field on the Jets. Matter of fact, the one touchdown, and they showed that the famous one, he was running right at me and Dub, and I'm like, come on. So yeah. I don't understand why.
which was the 2000,
We got
it
to
was the
get this shit
2011
together.
home opener, which oddly enough was the Mavericks' last home opener. How odd is that? Yeah,
That is real.
technology is being a pain right now. We apologize for that, folks. But I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, it's and here's the main thing. What a lot of people are saying, and this is from all the media outlets, from what they're seeing. I mean, you've heard Keyshawn Johnson say it, you've heard other people say it, but Antonio Pierce has that quality of being leaders of men, and it is showing. You've heard Devontae Adams say it. You've heard Max Crosby say it. Anyone that will put up a mic to these players, that's what they're saying. Antonio Pierce is a leader of men. What's the one quality of a head coach that you need to have is, can you be a leader of men? And Antonio Pierce has that. I understand completely. Mark wants to do his due diligence. I get it. But however, as you said, and you've said this many times on the show, the first press conference after they fired McDumbass and Ziegler that Champ Kelly and Antonio Pierce said, he was like, by God, let's go.
Well,
And
not only that, your
it turns the
alumni,
fact that with the ring
is
record
to
they
hire
went
him.
Yes.
The alumni, who you should be listening to. I swear to God, if he takes any, excuse me, no, I don't. Poor choice of words right there on that say. What to say? I'll say this: if he lets Tom Brady influence him to hire a coach, yet again, we're still following the fucking Patriot way. Excuse me. Now we're doing the Brady way. We're not doing it the Patriot way no more. So now we're going to do it the Brady way. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me. That does not work. You listen to your players. Half-ass listen to your players. At the end of the day, you are the owner, for sure. But if your players who you pay to help you win, you listen to that. And I hear the media saying, well, if it's not Antonio Pierce and it's hardball, they'll get over it. Yeah, they'll get over it, but there'll be a slight mutiny going on. They voiced who they want. You clearly see that they play hard for this man. Did you watch his exit press conference that I sent you?
Not all of it, but the parts that I watched, it's
But
like, okay,
this stuff though, did you
the
get where I was
aroma has
saying?
changed in the building. The
Thank
culture
you.
has yeah,
Thank
the
you.
culture has changed. The aroma has changed. It's almost like you want to ask, what more do you need? What more has to happen?
And not this, he
It's like,
wants to be there. It's
again,
not he's like he's trying to
you
take your
have
money. He wants to be there.
well, not just that. Not just that. He really does understand the Raider way because, hello, he grew up in Compton in the time when the Raiders were in Los Angeles. He wore the starter jacket. He wore the starter cap. He knows what it is to be a part of Raider Nation. Okay, I'll look. Okay, everyone. A lot of the older guard of Raider Nation talks about going back to their roots, and here's what they mean by that. Okay,
Right
John
there.
Madden was the Raiders
Ooh,
linebacker coach. Got promoted to head coach. Got promoted to head coach, and we know what happened. We know what John
yes.
Madden was as a head coach. John Madden retires. John Madden retires. Who they go? They stay in house. They get his quarterback coach slash offensive coordinator, another Hall of Famer in Tom Flores, who, by the way, never lost a Super Bowl as a head coach, just like John Madden. Okay. Now we go back to and now we go back to 1989. Things
Our
didn't work out between Mike Shanahan and Al Davis. We know what happened. Al decides to go get one of his Hall of Fame players. Art Shell Part 1. We know what happened to Part 2. Didn't work out so well, but he hired Art Shell, went back to the roots. Art Shell in his first tenure made the playoffs 3 times. One of those years, they won the AFC West, got to the AFC Championship game. So, Antonio Pierce was on the coaching staff as a linebacker coach. Interim had the same exact record as Art Shell in '89. Art Shell finished his tenure as interim coach at 5-4, got the tag taken off, and then the next season, the Raiders got to the AFC title game with a 12-4 record, won the West before losing to the Bills. Now,
was
I'm
that the
not
game of the
saying that AP
snow?
is going to go 12-5 and take the Raiders to the AFC title game. It wasn't snowing. It was cold, but it didn't snow. Now, the game in '93 where the Raiders almost won and lost by 6, that was snowing, which,
Okay, I got
oddly
my
enough,
years
was the
mixed.
last game of the great career of Howie Long. But
Thank
yeah, but
you.
but
I got
but
my
that particular game, well, the Raiders had a lead, but it's okay. But what I'm saying is, it's the comparisons are almost similar. Okay, I'm pretty sure Antonio Pierce is smart enough to be like, okay, you know what? What offensive coordinator do I want to go with this offense?
That's what he needs to come
Because
in to
obviously,
his.
like you said,
He needs to have an idea. He needs to come to Mark and say, "This is who I want as my OC. I want Patrick Graham as my defensive coordinator." But it's going to start with. I'll say this: if Champ gets the position, AP returns. They are neck and neck. There will be no
I don't
we're
have,
hiring Champ
I don't,
and then we're going to go hire
I don't,
someone else. No, 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 no. Champ and AP, and you know
nah.
no, no. My gut tells me that it's going to be Champ and AP because just because your man's came on here, I think is it Daryl who comes over here with his wannabe slander. He said that, and also JP. I love it. I love it. I because you know why? Because they're wrong. And I just have the feeling it's almost like when I went and said that I when I picked the Packers. Remember when I picked the Packers and
Mm-hmm.
now we came on the show and I was like, nah, I want the Raiders. Give me the Raiders, and the Raiders won. I have this same
Mm-hmm.
feeling that it's going to be AP and Champ, and let the good times roll. It's go. I have this same feeling when they traded for Randy Moss, and I was all. You remember when they traded for Randy Moss? Bro, I was this high. I'm getting that feeling, so I hope I'm not going to get let down. But man, oh man, if we retain AP, just think about the free agents that's going to want to come here. I mean, the stadium alone and Max Crosby is and Devontae is enough. But now you put AP in there. You heard the locker room. The locker room said if AP don't get hired, they rioting. I mean, I know they were, you know, just saying that to be saying that because they're going to play for whoever the coach is. But you get what they're saying. Well, it can't get
Yes.
any worse.
Yeah. Yes.
So what? Exactly. So what? And I don't think he's going to fail because he has a whole locker room. He has the command of this franchise. It's not like they're like, okay, here we go, another interim head coach. When
You're not
your
wrong.
leader, when your captain comes out and says that he's sick of losing, he's sick of the he just wants consistency. All he wants is consistency. Give it to him. I expect if AP is retained, cousin, I expect in the second year because you give him 1 year to establish. He already has an identity. Okay, he knows what he wants to do. If Patrick Graham is retained, we know the defense is going to show up. I just need to know who his OC is. And does Josh Jacobs already said if AP is back, he's back. Listen to your players. Okay. So and if Graham is retained, go ahead, Dub. You got something to say? It seemed like you want to try. Go for it. Go for it.
No, 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 no. Finish your point. Finish your
Okay.
point.
Now, JJ said he wants to stay if
Go
AP
ahead and
is
finish your
retained.
point.
You already listened to that. I just need to know who his OC is going to be. Like I said, he already has the locker room. They're already backing him. So they're going to go out there and play their asses off regardless. I just need to know who the OC is going to be and how he's going to run that offense. Because again, if Graham comes back, we know the defense is coming. Just get a couple more, get younger. Well, we already got younger in the middle. Tyree Wilson, like I told everybody, you can go back and watch previous Mizzle and Dub shows. I said, give the man some time. He was hurt. Next season, Tyree Wilson is going to match that energy with Max. Try saying that 3 times fast. But and then Malcolm Koonce. Malcolm Koonce is about to get paid. That young man is about to get paid. So now you got your three. You got your three up front. You already got Diablo Spillane. Just retain AP. So to answer your question, cousin, playoffs in a second, but it also depends on who comes back and who the OC is. Because right now, Patrick Graham has been requested to be interviewed for a head coaching position in Inglewood, and Champ Kelly has been, but I believe it's going through the motion. Because if you look at who the Raiders requested to interview, they interviewed these people last year.
Correct.
So they're
Correct.
doing their due diligence. So you're already going to do your Rooney Rule with AP and Champ. So the Rooney Rule is already covered. Follow me, follow me. I know I'm being a conspiracy theorist right now, but whatever, just follow me. Hey, 110%. But follow where I'm going with this. They're requesting the same people that interviewed last year. Champ Kelly got interviewed for the position last year, but Mark fell in love with the Patriot way, which got Ziegler and McDumass. But Champ Kelly came on as an assistant GM. Why? It ain't broke. It's not broken.
7, 8.
So, yeah, do they look for a new QB or focus on defense? They're going to draft a quarterback. Ain't no Connor was not the answer. It was good to see that he got some reps and he can and he has the arm, but I think he's more of a serviceable quarterback than being a starter. I would love for them to get the kid out of LSU. I would love, and
Who was he was in attendance on Sunday.
yes, yes. So, and if you listen to what AP said, now he could be speaking into because we all are, we're God-fearing men, and we speak stuff into existence. On his leaving thing, he also said on Twitter, "I'll see you guys next season." So, I mean, he could be speaking into fruition, as as us being children of God. We speak into that. If we want something, we speak into it as it already is ours. So he could have done that. But like I said, Mark is calling in the same people he interviewed before McDumbass and Ziegler got hired. So
On a side note, though, it was great to see Plunk, the Mad Stork, and Double Zero in the locker room taking celebration in the locker room with the team.
good job, JP. You took my segue. Good job, JP. Shout out to the
well,
All Pro.
actually, he was on the yes, our good friends. Which, by the way, please do subscribe to them at Country K. They will have a show on tomorrow morning. Don't know what time, but please do watch and subscribe. Very good friends of ours. So, with that said, one thing I forgot to touch on late last night was Zamir White ran the ball effectively yet again against the Broncos on Sunday. He was fantastic. He was tremendous. Ran for 112 yards. So he played very valiantly and played very well in Josh Jacobs' absence. I am hoping that if JJ does come back, I really would love to see these two utilize as a two-headed monster as they should be, because as I've been saying for years, I love JJ, but Zeus has the home run speed that JJ does not have. JJ is you're in between the tackle tough yards and can bust one loose if you let him.
Bruiser. He's a
Zamir
bruiser.
can hit that. Zamir can hit that one hole and hit the home run if you need to, because he has that type of speed to do it. But Zeus is also showing that he too can run in between the tackles, but his main thing is let me get in space so I can use my speed because I have that type of speed. However, I would love to see both of them utilized as they should be, like the two-headed man monster that they possibly can be, if they get the right offensive coordinator.
Now, can it be the flashback? Can it be before we switch real quick? Because you said the two-headed monster. Now, just take what I'm saying with this, and don't think about the player, but think about how I'm looking at it. So, could it be Zach Crockett and Charlie Garner all over again with Zeus and JJ? But you know what I mean. Zach Crockett was he's a lot bigger than JJ, but you get my terminology where I'm going with that. Garner was the bullet.
Well,
the
Zach,
lightning.
I mean,
Zach was the thunder.
Zach Crockett. Yeah, Zach Crockett was more. Zach was more goal line. Okay, I'll even take you a step further. Go back to when it was Tyron Wheatley and Napoleon Kaufman.
Now you just playing with my fucking emotions.
No. Not playing with emotions.
No, disrespect in a good way. I'm like that. Okay. That right there is classic.
Okay.
That's classic.
Okay.
That's classic. And ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, my brother is a Niner fan, and look at him giving you all this Raider history. That's a historian right there. But yes, I can. That is also a good comparison. I would love to see that.
Now, the only thing that I'm mad that Raider Nation didn't get because Napoleon Kaufman retired too early. Could you have imagined 2002 if you had Charlie Garner and Napoleon Kaufman in that backfield?
So who's playing wide receiver today? So who go out there and line up at wide receiver? Bro, that's a deadly combo. Because remember one year, Charlie Garner had, I believe, didn't he have a? It might have been 100, 100, or 1,000, 1,000. I think he had 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing one year for the Raiders.
He was close. He didn't get it, but he was damn close. I think he was like a few yards away from
He had like 995
he came close.
Oh, Gruden used him.
Something along those lines, but he was very, very close.
Oh my God! The game against Pittsburgh, he just showed his ass. The Pittsburgh.
But here's the funny thing: you had, but the thing is, he had Charlie Gardner lined up in the slot. Yes. He had him lined up in the slot because remember, when Charlie Garner was the Eagle, John Gruden was the OC, and he had Charlie Garner lined up in the slot. I remember that because the year my team went to the Super Bowl, the Eagles torched us 48, and a lot of that was because of Charlie Gardner.
That man
Charlie
was a football
Gardner could play some doggone football, and
he was a football player.
If he did not have if he didn't have bad injuries with his legs, who knows what Charlie Garner could have came. But the time that he was in there, Charlie Garner could freaking play some ball. I'm just trying to tell you. But anyhow,
football player.
But anyhow, I mean, like I said, don't make the same mistake you did back in 2021 when you let Bisaccia walk. Don't do that again.
Yeah, please.
Don't do it again. Now,
don't
talk about the national championship game, but we get into this all. Don't set them back again. Don't do it. Don't
tear this fan base apart. We're united.
Back to what our actual topic was supposed to be. Now back to the actual game we were actually supposed to talk about that took place at NRG Stadium. The Michigan Wolverines, for the first time since '97, win the national championship. But
this
is their first outright title that they've won since. Hold on, let me go back to. It's been a long time since they won it.
97
by themselves. Well, 97 they won it. 97 they won a share of it, but they haven't outright won the national title by themselves on their own since. Hold on, let's go back. Okay, 1948 was the last time. 1948 was the last time Michigan held the national title by their own.
2 years over.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, for the first time since 48. Since the first time since 1948, outright Michigan wins the national championship. And we say so long to the college football playoff 4-team format, as starting this year, we go to the 12-team. So it began back in 2014, and oddly enough, it was the Big Ten team that won it, and it's a Big Team 10 that finishes it under the 4-team format. So, of course, 2014 was Ohio State, then Alabama and Clemson kept trending it off from 2015 to 2018. Of course, LSU wins it in 2019. Then Alabama breaks my heart because we had the lead against Alabama, but couldn't finish. Then, of course, my Bulldogs finally go over the hump and win it for 2 straight years. And then Michigan finally breaks the hump this year. So
my nose,
but now it'll be under
right?
12-team format. The Seminoles were the last to win the BCS, yes, against Auburn.
Yes.
Really, it was really about two things. It really was about two things for Michigan in this game.
Run game.
The running game and the pressure by their defense. Um, Donovan Edwards, welcome back. Hello. He set the tone with his 2 long touchdown runs. Only ran the ball 6 times, but in those 6 times, he totaled 104 yards, averaging 17 a run. He scored twice, of course. Blake Corum, a leading touchdown rusher in Michigan history. He ran for a $134 and scored twice. Basically, the run game carried Michigan on the offense because J.J. McCarthy only threw 18 passes, only completed 10 of them. He really didn't need to throw the ball because, like I said, Edwards and Corum basically carried the Michigan offense, which they ran for a total of 303 yards on the day. And like I said, Michael Penix uh, played against the defense, and Michigan just kept
They were
constantly
big.
pressuring him. And
They were
then
too big.
they were big, and there were some throws. They were too big, and there were some throws that he normally does not miss. He missed tonight. Um,
Two of
there
them. At
was a
least
couple of times
at
that
least heard two of
Oduzier,
my
the
ears.
fantastic.
Yep, that's one of them. Yep, that's one of
Yeah,
them.
no, Oduzier was open on one by him. Oduzier was open by himself, and I mean, Penix just missed him. He slightly overthrew him, which I said, if you haven't watched Michael Penix all year long, he is very, very accurate and
Yes.
can throw the
Now,
ball very, very well. And it's
did it
and
did
it's
it seem
just, I
like he
mean,
was throwing off his back foot a lot? Because some of the times I got to watch,
yeah, because I
it
mean,
looked like he
Michigan,
was throwing off his
Michigan,
back foot a lot.
yeah, yeah, he was. I
Okay.
mean, it just in some instances his timing was off, his rhythm was off, and I mean when you have a guy that is, I mean all quarterbacks are on timing and rhythm. That's the beauty of being a quarterback. That's the beauty of the passing game. It is timing and rhythm. And again, when your rhythm and your timing is thrown off, this is what happens. And the fact that, I mean, yeah, the final score was 34-13. But
Mm-hmm.
however, I don't think the score emphasized what the game was because for a long stretch, Washington was only down a touchdown. Washington got within 20-13, but the 2 interceptions that Penix threw came at the bad time, and then Michigan just took advantage, and that's where Blake Corum put the game away with his 2 touchdowns. And of course, Michigan celebrates, and they're partying all night long, singing "Hail to the Victors" in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Um,
Oh boy,
I
Rich
thought one of the
Eisen,
most unique
Eisen
comments.
in this Aaron whiskey right now.
Oh, Rich Eisen is going to be happy as all get down on the next episode of the Rich Eisen Show coming up tomorrow. He
Oh
is. But
yes.
also I know Charles Woodson has had a lot of his whiskey bourbon tonight, celebrating his beloved Wolverines winning the national title. Of course, Tyrone Wheatley, Braylon Edwards,
Yes.
Mike Hart,
Yes.
Chad
Aiden
Henney, a
Hutchinson.
lot of the great Michigan alums. Um,
Did you say Tom Brady?
yes, I know his dad was his dad. I did not mention him. No, I did not, because I know how much bad vibes he gives you. But
It's okay. He's retired.
nonetheless,
He's
I mean,
retired.
well, okay. When it comes to him as a Wolverine, I respect what he did in Michigan because he was like Joe Montana, kicked to
Yes,
the
indeed.
side. But when they needed him to come in and make a play, that's what Brady
Oh,
did, helping
how
Michigan win
how
games. And
can we
oddly enough,
how can we forget about Mr. Heisman himself? Did we say Desmond Howard? You know he's gonna be talking big stuff.
oh well, he was there in person celebrating. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, there it
Him,
is. Yeah,
Elvis
that's right. This
Grbac,
is for the college game day. So yeah. He was already in the building. That's right.
yeah, him, Elvis Grbac. I mean, the list goes on and
Indeed.
on. And of course, like I said, Jack coached for many years, coached with the great Bo Schembechler, who of course Harbaugh played for. Um, so it
Mm-hmm.
comes full circle for the Harbaugh family. Um,
Indeed.
I thought one of the most poignant quotes by Jim was when he said he can finally eat at the big table with his dad and his brother because he was the only one that. Ooh,
Okay,
good,
okay, cousin.
good name there
Okay,
to throw in there,
cousin.
sir.
Oh, okay,
Go,
okay.
go ahead.
Shoelaces.
Okay,
Okay.
go,
He didn't
go
brought in
ahead.
shoelaces. this piece. Okay, there it is. That's what
Yes.
we love on this
Yes.
show.
Yes.
We love
Yes.
when our fans can bring knowledge to help us out on this. That was beautiful. Appreciate that, cuz. Yes, indeed. Denard
But
Robinson. Yes.
but yeah. But now that's gonna segue into, well, I mean, Michigan. Like I've been saying, normally I'm a West Coast guy. I will root for a West Coast team, with the exception of Los Angeles sports teams. If you're a sports team in LA,
Yes.
I'm not rooting for it. I'm not rooting for you. I hope you
No.
get shut out.
If your team is in Southern California, it ain't getting rooted for up here. Because you know the Padres, the Angels. Yeah, we don't. No, 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 no. Can't do it.
With that said, can't do it. Finally, finally, we get him to comment on the show. Finally, no. In all seriousness, Big Greg, big friend, a huge friend of ours, known him since Fairfield High. Um, like I said, hopefully you watched the show where he, mentioned that he's,
Now that will we
fighting through
not
what he's
talk about
fighting
the
through.
show, sir. We will not talk about that. That's what we won't do. Okay? Right? Now, Dub is about to continue what he's going to say, but we will not talk about that team. No. Mm-mm.
No, nonetheless, Big Greg, good to see you. Hope you are doing well in your recovery and your recovering process and your healing. Me and Mizzle got nothing but love for you. So we hope
Yes.
the process of you returning to your normal self is going well, because I know you got a lot
Yes.
to live for, especially those two boys of yours, those two sons. So
Talk
glad to
about
see you
it.
finally make a comment on this show, Dak Nabbit. Good grief.
Facts.
Anyhow,
Facts
since you're
100%.
in here, Big Greg, if you're still in here with us, type up your thoughts. Should AP stay on as the Raiders head coach? Because I know you bleed silver and black, just like Mizzle does. If you're still in here, comment on that and let us know what you think. But nonetheless, thank you for chiming in. But yeah, I'm like Mizzle. You can take that. You get right back at you, big bro. Right back at you. But tell me, should AP stay on as the head coach of your beloved Raiders? Mizzle's already given his 2 cents. Our little big brother has given his 2 cents. So
I think I
shoot
gave
us in the
about a.
comment about AP and your thoughts.
I think I gave a C note.
You gave
I
a
didn't
whole
get.
hypothesis and
Yeah,
conclusion.
100%. I'll say I got gave a C note.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Big
I said
Greg, you're not wrong.
the
Big
same
Greg,
thing. I said that too. Yes, yes, yes. Just give him an OC. Just give him an OC, bro, and try to keep Patrick Graham. And let's run it. Let's run it. I said the same thing.
well, there
See,
it is, folks.
right? This see.
There it
Do you
is.
see the Raider Nation
So,
united?
so there
There's
is.
no arguments going on right now with the Raider Nation. We see the big picture. Don't and you see what I say?
You're not
Pay
wrong.
attention, Mark Davis.
You're not wrong.
There's my slogan, and I'm riding with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
slogan
you're
until
not
AP
wrong. You're not
gets hired. When you see the Mizzle and Dub show, it's gonna be that's what it's gonna say until I see AP gets hired, and then I'll be celebrating.
wrong. Well, I mean, like
Well,
I said,
to answer that, Jake Adams ain't going nowhere. But Jacob said he already ready to come back as long as AP is the coach. But we all know this talks. So he can say what he want to say. But if they throw the money at him, yeah. But he said he wants to return, especially if AP is back. So I'll take that. But Adams ain't going nowhere. This
I'll
has been his dream scenario.
I'll answer.
He, go ahead, Dub.
I'll answer this question. Now, if you're making there, as we have always preached on the show, you want people that want to come to your organization.
Straight up.
And I think JJ exemplifies loving being what a Raider is. Now, if you're talking about AP and Champ Kelly, like I said, if you did not watch their first press conference after McDumbass and Ziegler let go, if you didn't hear their fire and their wanting to turn this around, I don't know what you've been watching. I really don't know. Because like I said, if you haven't seen that the aura, the aroma, and the culture change, I mean, when you have Hunter Renfro saying we don't have to walk on eggshells anymore,
And
that's
football
saying
is fun
something.
again.
Okay. And when the head coach at that time gets butthurt because of something that happened 17 years ago, because you're like, don't talk about that game and don't talk about that team, because AP's trying to motivate the guys, talking about, what his Giants team did in 2007. I mean, and you're not wrong on that either. You're not you're not wrong at that. Like I said, the one common thing we've been saying, he's a leader of men. He's paid his dues. The man started as a head coach in Long Beach Poly in his roots as a high school head coach. Got to college as a position coach, learned behind Herm Edwards, learned behind Marvin Lewis at Arizona State, got his start up here with the Raiders as a position coach, and now, like I said, it's very similar to Art Shell in 1989. Art Shell got promoted, went 5-4. Al took the tag off, and we saw what happened with Art Shell had a full season as head coach. They won the West, won a playoff game, was one step away from Super Bowl 25. Unfortunately, they ran into a very good Buffalo Bills team. So, again, I'm not saying that the same thing's going to happen. It possibly can because it's the NFL. Anything can happen. And plus, I
Mhm.
think the Chiefs are slowly on the decline. And the fact that the Raiders are okay, I'll say it like this. Here here comes the big improvement. Now, I really don't I really don't really go into whole plus minus things, but I'll do it for the sake of this. The Raiders finished the year,
He
well,
did
they
it,
split
but he
with
did
them.
that exactly. He did it.
They split with them, and not just that, they beat him at home and held him to 14 points. That's saying something. Like I said, this is not the same. This is not the same Chiefs team. They're slowly on the decline. Now, back to what I'm about to say. Now, the Raiders finished 8-9. Now, the
Mhm.
Raiders scored a total of 332 points for the season. They only gave up 331. They are plus one in the differential. Now, since since AP became the head coach, he was the head coach for 9 games. The Raiders went 5-4. In those 9 games, the Raiders defense, and I'm gonna take the mic. I'm gonna grab the mic for this.
Just grab the microphone.
In the 9 games that AP was the interim head coach, and with Patrick Graham as the DC, the Raiders defense only gave up 16 points in those 9 games under AP as the interim head coach. I'm going to say that again. The Raiders defense in those 9 games under Antonio Pierce gave up 16 points a game. And that's playing Kansas City twice. And that's playing a very high scoring Miami Dolphins team that once upon a time put up 70 in the season. In those 9 games under AP, the defense gave up 16 points a game.
They
So
finished in
what
the
does
top.
that tell you?
They finished in the top 10 to end the year.
What does that tell
They
you?
were the top 10 defense to end the year, and they're not even in the playoffs. A top 10 defense is not in the playoffs. Give the man do like I say. Pay attention, Mark. I ain't got to say too much. Just pay attention, Mark.
Now, slowly to the NBA. Uh, Going back to what happened today in the NBA action. The Indiana Pacers get a big win over the Celtics, 133 to 131. Um, Unfortunately, they did not have Tyrese Halliburton as he left the game with an injury. And Big Greg, you're not wrong on that either. They can definitely, I'll say this, they can definitely contend for a wild card spot if they bring on AP full time starting this year. That can definitely happen because, I mean, you look at it like this. It took the next to last week of the season for the Raiders to be eliminated in that 3-point loss to the Colts. It had to take until week 17 for them to be officially eliminated. So they can definitely contend for a wild card spot if they bring back, if they let Champ and AP put this together. You're not wrong on that. Pacers beat the Celtics 133-131. Jaylen Brown had 40 of them buckets. Benedict
Ooh,
Mathurin had 26 to lead Indiana. Indiana puts the record at 21-15, and the Celtics go to 22-8. Also in the game today, in overtime, the Bulls beat the Hornets 119 to 112. Kobe White scored. Kobe White solidly has played very well for the Bulls this year, and has been very solid overall with the Bulls since he's been in the league.
from
Terry, and also, Tar Heel. He is a Tar Heel. Terry Rozier needs to break free from Charlotte because all that man does is just play basketball. He led the Horns with 39 big ones. With the
hmm
Bulls go to 17-21. Charlotte goes to 8-26. The Thunder are coming. If you have not paid attention, the Thunder are 24-11. They beat the Wizards 136
shot.
to 128. The Wizards are the Wizards are horrendous. 6-30, but nice to see Jordan Poole have a nice game for the Wizards. He led them with 24. Shot 8 of 17 from the field, 4 or 5 from the field lane. Shea Gidges Alexander just continues to thrive. He had 32 to lead OKC. Williams had 21. Holmgren had 31. Joe and Wiggins had 13 off the 16 and 13 off the bench respectively. As the Thunder get their 24th win of the year, they beat the Wizards 136 to 128. Heat culture, they just continue to win. That's just what they do. Heat beat the Rockets 120 to 113. Tyler Hero had 38 to lead the Heat. Fred Van Fleet had 32 to lead Houston. Bam had
Wow.
22 and 12. And Love had 15 off the bench. Duncan Robinson had 14 off the bench. Richardson had 12 off the bench. And again, they're doing all this with no Jimmy Buckets. And just imagine when Jimmy Butler returns, all that's going to do is make Miami. Like I said, this is that's why I don't have worries about the Miami Heat organization because they know what they're doing. Why do you think 4 out of the last 5 years they've been in the NBA Final Four? And 3 of those 4
hmm
years they've either been in the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals. They know what they're doing. They do. All right. The Utah Jazz go into Milwaukee and shock the Bucks.
Yes,
132 to 116.
hmm
Markkinen had 21 to lead the Jazz. Giannis had 25 to lead the Bucks. And Giannis is calling out his teammates.
Oh, already.
Now, if you're making reference to the rookie, rookie from UCLA, if you're talking about Mr. Jerquez Jr., Jaime Jaquez Jr., Big Greg, yeah, he when they drafted him, when Miami drafted him, I said, oh, he's going to make a big impact for Miami right away. He was very good at UCLA and continues to play. I think Dame might be trying too hard to fit in Milwaukee and just not play to his game. I think that's what's going on. And now you got Giannis calling on his teammates saying that they're not committed defensively, which again, yes, Dame is a talent, but you gave up your best defender in Drew Holiday, and now he's wearing a different shade of green in Boston, Mass, and hence why the Celtics have the best record in the East, much to Mizzle's dismay of him being a beloved 76er. But, I mean, that's not saying Dame can't defend. He's not the defender Drew Holiday is. But
Exactly.
when you when you're trying to win, and I've always been a advocate of this, you don't give up the whole farm for one guy. You just don't. Doesn't matter how good that one guy is. If you don't have the nucleus of the core to back you, and you have no
Mhm.
bench to back you, this is what happens. You
Mhm.
flame out in the second round because you have no depth. I mean, most yes, I get it. When you get to the playoffs, you normally have no more than an 8-man rotation. I get it. I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is what it is. But howbeiver, even with all that, the Bucks are still the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 25-12, even though Philly is right there, right behind them in grasp to take the 2 seed. But in Philadelphia, there's more continuity in Philly because they're playing as one. There's no ego, and the cancer left in James Harden. Now, even though James Harden is playing well, and the Clippers are playing well, the Clippers gave it to the Suns again tonight, beating them soundly 138 to 1, beating them soundly 138 to 111. And now my question is, what's going on in Phoenix?
Ooh.
Because I mean, Bradley Beal can't stay healthy for his life. I mean, I don't know if Booker, Beal, and Durant have played a game all together yet this year. I don't know.
I think
And I mean, and the thing is, now Durant, it's almost like Durant and Curry are becoming like the same. It's like, as great as they are,
mhm.
their greatness can't carry a team to a victory every night like they used to be. And it's almost like the same thing with LeBron. I mean, there have been times where LeBron has been fantastic, but it hasn't been enough to carry the Lakers to a win. And I'm not saying that to throw shade or talk trash. I'm just from my
Facts are facts.
analytical stage of my eyes, that's just what I'm seeing. Like there's been times where Curry has been fantastic, but he's not getting no help. Same thing with Durant. Same thing with Durant. Same thing with Booker. Same with LeBron. It's like LeBron is almost putting up triple double like numbers, but it's like, well, damn. If he's going, but AD's off, or Reeves is off, or Vanderbilt's off, or Woods off, it's like, well, good grief, what more can I do? It's the
Facts.
same thing with Curry. It's
Yeah.
like, well, okay, if Wiggins not helping me, if Clay's not helping me, like, yeah, I'm getting help from Moody and Kaminga, but if they're still stuck on the bench because my coach will play them, what am I to
You
do?
took the words right out of my mouth. That was what I was about to come with right there. Exactly.
So so it's kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, Booker had 20, Durant had 30. Oh, they actually all played together tonight. Beal, Booker, and Durant actually all played together. But Durant had 30, Beal had 15, Booker had 34. I mean, Durant played 35 minutes, Beal played 35 minutes, Booker played 34 minutes, but no contribution from the bench other than Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon had 12, but nothing else from Phoenix. Phoenix shot 10 of 30 from 3-point range, and the Clippers shot 15 of 29 from three. Um, Powell had 14 off the bench for the Clippers. Westbrook had 9 off the bench for the Clippers, but it was 28 or 25 from Paul George, 17 from Kawhi Leonard, 19 from Harden, 14 from Terrence Mann, and I'll say this: Avika Zubac does not get enough credit. He has been a fantastic big man and has been solid. And I understand why Brian was upset when the Lakers traded Zubac. I can understand why, because he has been a talented, talented big man. Um, he had 19, 8, and 3 to help the Clippers, and the Clippers are 23 and 13. The Suns go to 19 and 18, and it's almost like a changing of the guard in the Western Conference. Because I mean, if you look at the West,
Timberwolves.
you got the T Wolves, the 1 seed. Then you got the Thunder as the 2 seed. Then you have the Nuggets. Of course, the Nuggets are going to be there as long as you have the Joker and Murray with those two guys, and the way they played two man basketball is just beautiful to
You
watch.
mean the walk
Um,
triple double?
you got to yes, that too. But again, but reason why I think the Timberwolves are having success is because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Win a high majority of your home games and try to
Facts.
stay even on the road, and
Facts.
everything else will balance itself out. Because if you look at it, Minnesota is 14-2 at home,
Ooh.
11-8 on the road, and hence why they got the 25-10 record. Like OKC is 14-5 at home, and they're 10-6 on the road. Hence why they have the record that they have. Denver,
Yeah,
we know Denver's going to
yeah.
be strong at home because playing in the altitude is never easy, and that's always a big advantage for them. They're 15-4 at
Mm-hmm.
home. They're 11-8 on the road. Okay, so Greg, let me ask you this question: if the Lakers do that, who internally in house can be the interim to turn this around? Because I mean, right now you guys are 18 and 19. We're 17 and 19. So basically, it's between y'all. It's between you guys and us to try to even get in the play-in tournament. So let me ask you these two questions. First one, obviously, who internally can turn it around on the coaching staff if they decide to get rid of Darvingham? And
Yeah.
number two, um, my other question would be, who on the roster that was expected to be a big help is not helping? Is it the rotation? Is it health? What's not clicking with the Lakers as opposed to why they are off to a why they've been struggling since they won the play-in tournament? If you can elaborate on that, because I mean something is up, because ever since they won that tournament in Vegas, they have not played the same. Something's going on. And also, do you think Darvinham's lost the locker room? Is that a possibility? And if it is, what does Jeannie Buss and Rob Palenka have to do to right the ship and get the locker room back together? Because it seems like there is a discord. There seems to be a discord because, I mean, Darvin Ham's not a bad coach. He's not. Um, and I mean,
No, he's just coaching LeBron. That's it.
well, you're right. LeBron should not be 75 years old carrying the team. You're right about that. Um, I mean, we marvel at what he does at his age, because him almost being 40, he's not supposed to be putting up the numbers that he's putting up, which just shows you how much he does take care of his body and his conditioning. There's no denying that. But he definitely should not be the best player on the team. He should just be a contributor. Um, but I mean, it's the changing of the guard in the NBA, for that matter, and we'll just see what happens. But tonight in the association, tonight's games will be on this Tuesday, January the 9th. We have the Kings in Detroit against the Pistons, and a very, very intriguing matchup in Orlando between the Orlando Magic and the Minnesota Timberwolves. That should
Ooh.
be a very intriguing basketball game. Um, and the Knickerbockers at home against the Trailblazers in the Mecca. And on NBA TV, we have the Mavericks at home against the Grizzlies. And best wishes to John Morant, who did the right things to
Ooh.
get back into the league, came back,
Yeah,
played
that sucks.
fantastically well, played fantastically well in his 9 games, and fortunately will have shoulder surgery and is gone for the rest of the season, which is tragic.
Mhm.
Man was averaging over 25 points since he came back. Hopefully, best wishes to him in his recovery, as John Morant is now gone for the season, which is just a tragic shame. It really is. And the Lakers in the nightcap tonight against the Raptors in LA. So that is your 5-game slate for the Association of the NBA. Now, we didn't exactly say this last night. We forgot to mention this, but for those that don't know, specifically for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins playoff game. Now, unless you live in the Kansas City and Miami market, those games will be shown locally on the local NBC stations. However, everywhere else, that game is exclusively only on Peacock. So the Dolphins Chiefs playoff game, again, just to reiterate, unless if you live in the Kansas City and Miami market, it will be shown locally on the NBC channels. But everywhere else, you must subscribe to Peacock if you want to watch the game. So I know people like to go to sports books and bars to watch games and watch football. So I don't know how they're going to arrange and do that, but you'll have to have Peacock to watch the Dolphins and the Chiefs. So if you're a Dolphins fan and a Chiefs fan and you don't live in the local market, um, even if it's
Fast
just for
forward.
one game, even if it's for one game, you're going to have to subscribe to Peacock. So that's the situation with that. But just to go over the games one more time or go over the playoff schedule for this upcoming weekend. As such, it will go like this. All right, so here we go. The wild card round is playoff time in the NFL. It starts off Saturday, so you have two games on Saturday, which you have the Browns and the Texans kicking it off at 1:30 p.m. That's on NBC. Browns are a -2.5 favorite. Like I said, the Chiefs and the Dolphins on Peacock. That's at 5 o'clock, but it is a Peacock game only unless you live in the KC and Miami markets. They'll be on your local NBC channel. And the Chiefs are 3.5. And also for the Dolphins, it just continues to get worse. They're now saying that Xavier Howard might not even play in this game against the Chiefs, and if he doesn't play, that is really going to put strains on the Dolphins defense as it is already. You already don't have Phillip. You already don't have Phillips. He's gone for the year. You don't have Bradley Chubb. He's gone for the year. Now, if you don't have Xavier Howard, that's not good because you already don't have Cameron Good. He's out. Jerome Baker. He's out. Andrew Van Ginkel. He's out. Jalen Waddle is still questionable. So the Dolphins are getting hit with the injury bug at the wrong time in this one. But on the same side with the Chiefs, L'Jarius Sneed, he's questionable. Kadarius Toney is questionable. Donovan Smith, the offensive tackle, he's questionable. Rashid Weiss and Justin Ross are questionable. So really, in this particular game, it's really going to come down to two things. Can Tua handle the pressure, number one?
Yep.
And number two, who on the Chiefs besides Travis Kelce can catch the damn ball? And so far, it really has been showing that nobody on the Chiefs can catch the doggone ball other than Travis Kelce. So are they going to become heavily dependent on the run game and Isaiah Pacheco and just rely on this defense? Because this has been the best defense that Mahomes has had since he's been the starter. But, I mean, we'll see. If you're the Dolphins, do you rely heavily on A-Chain and Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. to run the ball and limit touches for the Chiefs? I mean, that they might have to do that, but we'll see. Then Sunday we got three games. The Bills and Steelers kick us off in Orchard Park, New York. That's on CBS. The Bills are -10. And then an old classic playoff matchup, an old classic playoff rivalry on Fox at 1:30. The Cowboys and Packers renew acquaintances once again. Mike McCarthy taking on his former team that he won Super Bowl 45 with. The Cowboys are -7.5. And then the nightcap on NBC in prime time. Matthew Stafford returns to Detroit, Michigan in Ford Field to play the Lions. That one should be a very high rating for NBC. And then the Monday night cap, the Eagles and Buccaneers in Tampa. They're giving the Eagles -3. But you know what?
I think the Buccaneers might win this game.
I do too. I think Rashad White might have a big game running the ball for Tampa Bay, and I think you'll get the good version of Baker Mayfield because the Eagles' defense is hurting. It is
Yep.
hurting, and it's hurting
Something
bad.
something's not right.
Yeah. So
They're
and
catching the
plus
super
the fact,
at the wrong time.
yeah, they are, and the fact that I don't know how Jalen Hurts' bent middle finger is gonna help him with how he throws the football. I don't know.
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
even though the Eagles should be favored, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
I I I really don't know.
that's why you watch the game.
And that's why I watch the game, and not the fact that which version of AJ Brown you're going to get because you don't know if AJ Brown is going to be the same guy because that injury against the Giants did not look healthy at
No,
all. It didn't.
no.
It didn't look good at all. So I mean,
Mhm.
like I said, it's I don't know, but if you can see an upset, where will the upset be? If you could see an upset during playoff weekend, where would the upset be? I guess the biggest upset possibly might be between the Steelers beating the Bills and the Packers beating the Cowboys. I mean, for me, I
Yeah,
think those two. I think
that,
those two
that,
would be my biggest upsets because I really wouldn't consider the Browns being the Texans an upset. I don't. Um,
no.
um, I really wouldn't consider the Rams being the Lions an upset because, like I said, how I feel about the Rams is how I feel about the Browns. I think those are the two dark horses that nobody really wants to see just because of how well the Rams. I mean, the Rams have been in playoff mode for a long time. Because when
Yeah.
they were trying to find what their record was before they went on this run, I think after they had lost to the Packers,
Mm-hmm.
they were 3-6.
Ooh.
When they lost 20-3 in Green Bay, and that was
Ooh.
back on November the 5th. They were
Mm-hmm.
3-6,
Ooh.
and they pretty much ran the table. They won 7 out of their last 8 to finish at 10-7 to get into the playoffs. So, like I said, they've the Rams have been in playoff mode since November. Hence why I
Mm-hmm.
said they might be the team in the NFC that nobody wants to see because they've been in playoff mode for almost 2 months. And plus, I mean, people think people may say what they want to say, but Sean McVay is still a very bright and smart head coach, and I don't think
Oh
he's
yes.
fallen off. Now,
No.
you look at, and also you look at all this. Megatron sets the single season receiving record. Cooper Cup wins the Triple Crown, and then you have the fantastic rookie season that Pua Nakua had. All those guys was because of the success of Matthew Stafford at quarterback. Just think about that. And I know people will say what they want to say about Stafford, but
Yeah.
Matt Stafford's had a pretty doggone good NFL career. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I
But
disagree.
looking forward to all these games. Looking forward to all these games. It's just fun. Um,
Oh yeah.
but now
Oh yeah.
we promised we were not going to go super long, so we'll we'll say so long for this rapid fire edition. But don't forget later on this morning, check out our good friends, the All Pro Jaffos, JP, Josh Perneda, Country K, Kawante Foster, and DJ Matt Six, Damian Saunders. Please subscribe to their page on the Perneda Brothers Productions page on YouTube. Like, watch,
Please.
subscribe. Very good friends of ours. They are the highly elevated sports talk for the highly elevated sports fan. Of course, don't forget this upcoming Wednesday. Join myself, the Vikings, Scott McCorkle, and Chris on the A7FL Other Side of the Ball podcast. You can catch on the Other Side of the Ball page on YouTube and on Facebook. Also, don't forget our good friend that is Corey Hammond. Next or this Friday, the 3-on-1 podcast makes their return. So you can catch Corey Hammond, Rob Fabian, and Matt Ryan as they prepare for the A7FL season, which the national season kicks off on March the 24th. So we won't be doing Talking Ish with Dub and Chris this Saturday because Chris is celebrating his 30th wedding anniversary, which I'll be there in attendance. So we won't be there
Nice.
this Saturday, but next Saturday we'll be back. And we are off this week for A7FL Fall Brawl as we celebrate and honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. So we'll be off for A7FL this weekend, but we'll pick it back up next weekend, which oddly enough is my brother's birthday, is when we pick back up the final week of Fall Brawl for A7FL. So just like I gave Debo a birthday shout out on the broadcast, I will do the same for Mizzle on Fox 5.2 and Caffeine TV on his birthday, which oddly enough will be the divisional playoff rounds in the NFL. But
I'll be chilling.
our thanks to Little Big Brother, our thanks to EJ Whistle, and our special thanks to Big Greg for
Yes.
chiming in on the comments. For those that watched on our Facebook page and our YouTube page and our Instagram page, thank you. And to our subscribers, all 74 y'all, we love you and appreciate you. And again, share with your friends and have them subscribe. So with that said, episode 151 is in the books. Congratulations again to the Michigan Wolverines, national champions in the world of college football. And we say rest in peace to the Pac-12 as we know it. And rest in peace to the 4-team college football playoff as we now go to the 12-team format starting this year. But nonetheless, he's Mizzle. I'm Dub. And as always, we appreciate you all. Thank you for your support. And as always, it's 5 o'clock.